This is RSEC TV, Stamford, New York. This is a test. This is a test. This is a test.
Hi, and welcome to another second round match of Brain Game. Our teams are from Hunter Tannersville and Cherry Valley Springfield. We'll meet them in just a moment, but first we're going to go over the rules. Brain Game is divided into two 10-minute rounds, and the first round questions are worth 10 points each, and a team is awarded a bonus question after correctly answering 5 toss-ups. The first half of the bonus need not be answered correctly in order to go on to the second part, and in the second round, toss-ups are worth 20 points each, and the first half of the bonus must be answered correctly in order to have a second shot at the second half of the question. Questions answered incorrectly will be subtracted from the team score based on the value of the question, and we'll be right back to introduce the teams right after this message.
Some people think Social Security is just for retirement.
But if a serious illness or injury puts you out of work, Social Security can pay disability.
Even if you're years from retirement.
And it would pay your family survivor's benefits if somehow your life gets cut short.
So what benefits can you expect? Find out by calling 1-800-2345-SSA.
For your own personal earnings and benefit estimate statement. Social Security, it's not just for retirement.
It's for life.
Just a fraction of what we spend dining out could help pick up the tab for a good cause. A small part of what we spend on sports could help keep our community in shape. Or some of our time on the phone could help answer society's problems. Won't you get involved? By giving 5% of your income and volunteering 5 hours per week, you can really help your community. This year, make it your goal to give 5. What you get back is immeasurable.
Okay, from Hunter Tannersville Central School we have
Dave. Mike.
Michael.
all right, and from the Hat team, Cherry Valley Springfield Central School,
Eric.
Paul.
Tracy.
all right, let's begin. Toss-up question, you might want to pencil for this, on fractional equations. What is the value of Q if 0.15 Q minus 7.2 equals 8.5? You may give the answer in fractional or decimal form. Five more seconds. Time's up. The answer is 104 2/3 or 104.67. These people were on the 1992 ballot for the presidency of what country? Miriam Defensor Santiago, Ramon Mitra, Salvador Laurel, Eduardo Canjango, and Imelda Marcos. Tracy.
Philippines.
Yes. John Brown surrendered his forces at Harper's Ferry to the U.S. Marines, commanded by what colonel, who would later lead the Confederate Army? Dave.
Robert E. Lee.
That's correct. Abraham Lincoln served one term as a member of what national legislative body prior to becoming U.S. president? Mike?
Senate.
No, that's incorrect. Cherry Valley Springfield. Paul?
House of Representatives.
Yes. The term dermatitis literally means inflammation of what? Eric?
Skin.
Yes, the skin. Adenine is a base in what type of acids? Dave?
Amino.
That's incorrect. Cherry Valley Springfield? Eric?
Ribonucleic acids. Or
Jud-
deoxyribonucleic.
Judges?
Either DNA or RNA. Both.
I don't think we can accept that. We'll have to accept nucleic acids. Which of the two main types of respiration is illustrated in the production of carbon dioxide by yeast making bread dough rise? Dave?
Anaerobic. Fermentation.
Judges, anaerobic fermentation. We can't accept that. Cherry Valley Springfield.
Please repeat the question.
Sure. Which of the two main types of respiration is illustrated in the production of carbon dioxide by yeast making bread dough rise? Paul.
Anaerobic respiration.
That's what we're looking for. What three-syllable term refers to a site outside a studio where a film is being shot? Paul?
On location.
Judges?
Yes.
Yes. Biology and aircraft. What type of symmetry? Bonus question must be for Cherry Valley Springfield. You guys can converse on this one, and the first one is on cities. At the time of the first U.S. Census in 1790, the two largest cities were New York and
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. Second part of the question, what was the largest and most significant capital city captured by the North Koreans in 1950?
Seoul.
Seoul. Okay, another toss-up question. What type of symmetry is exhibited by both Ivana Trump and a Boeing 747? Dave?
Vertical line symmetry.
No, I'm sorry, we can't accept that. CVS? According to this, it's bilateral symmetry. He ordered a cover-up of FBI failures in the investigation of Lee Harvey Oswald to protect the public image of the Bureau. Who was the director of the FBI? Dave?
J. Edgar Hoover.
That's correct. What island was invaded around the year 450 by the Jutes, Angles, and Saxons? Tracy?
Britain.
That's correct. What is the three-letter abbreviation for the offense of drunk driving? Eric?
DWI.
DWI or DUI? How many adjectives are there in this recent news clipping? Pat Paulson, the television comedian and vegetarian of several light-hearted campaigns, will run again in 1992 despite having filed for personal bankruptcy. How many adjectives? Paul?
1.
No. Hunter Tannersville. How many adjectives are there in this recent news clipping? Pat Paulson, the television comedian and veteran of several light-hearted campaigns, will run again in 1992 despite having filed for personal bankruptcy. Michael?
8.
No, the answer's 4. What U.S. state is situated closest to the Andros Island? What U.S. state is situated closest to Andros Island? No one? Florida. After the Civil War, the former Confederate states were readmitted to the Union on the condition that they ratify which amendment? Dave?
14th.
That's correct. In 1925, he accused the War Department of incompetency, criminal negligence, and almost treasonable administration of the national defense. Who was this brigadier general court-martialed in 1925? Paul?
Mitchell.
Yes, Billy Mitchell.
We had that question yesterday.
I don't think we did.
No, we didn't.
Okay. Zen is a variety of what religion? Dave?
Buddhism.
That's correct. To whom did Joseph Welch direct this comment in 1954? Until this moment, Senator, I think I've never really gauged... Dave?
Joe McCarthy.
Yes. All of the following are modifications... Okay, bonus question for Hunter. Tannersville. On sports and French. Sports involving what kind of creatures are ruled by this body? The Fédération Équestre Internationale.
Horses.
Yes. The following is the ruling body of what sport? Fédération Internationale d'Escrime.
I don't know.
Soccer.
Just say something.
Soccer.
Fencing. Okay, another toss-up question on plant modifications. All of the following are modifications of what fundamental part of a plant? Bulb, corm, rhizome, Eric.
Root.
No, that's incorrect. Stolon or tuber?
Don't they get to answer?
Dave?
Stem.
Yes. What is the name for the type of land form that connects Africa and Asia or North or South America? Dave?
Isthmus.
Yes. The bones of infants are mostly made of cartilage. As the person grows older, the cartilage is gradually replaced by bone cells through what process? Eric?
Ossification.
Yes. What right is affirmed in this quote by James I? The state of monarchy is the most supreme thing upon earth, for kings are not only gods, lieutenants upon the earth's... Dave?
Divine right of kings.
Yes. What is the Malaysian term for a diffuse supernatural power or influence that is believed to be embodied in certain objects or persons and to account for their extraordinary qualities or effectiveness? Dave?
Fetish.
No, that's incorrect. Cherry Valley, Springfield? It's a manna. Phil's jalopy averages, you might want pencils for this. Phil's jalopy averages 15 miles per gallon. Given a cost of $1.20 per gallon, what will be the fuel cost for a 750-mile trip? Eric?
$60.
$60. This 1992 quote referred to a site in what state? Bonus question must be. CVS. Okay, your bonus question is on campaigns. Ed Rollins and Hamilton Jordan were both associated with whose 1992 presidential campaign?
Perot.
Perot. What presidential candidate for the 1992 elections called for a 13% flat tax rate?
Please repeat the question.
What presidential candidate for the 1992 elections called for a 13% flat tax rate?
What? Clinton.
No, it's actually Jerry Brown. And that is the first half of Brain Game. We'll be back after this message with the scores.
Where'd you tell your mom you're going after?
Tom's party. I bet you like that. No beer.
Yeah, no people either.
I don't know why she's having such a fit about Mark's keg party.
Everybody's gonna be there.
Besides, one night's not gonna kill us. Don't drink and drive.
I was going to take a job with that engineering firm in New York. I got a better offer. I'm building schools overseas with the Peace Corps. The pace is a little slower than New York, but here I'm getting grassroots experience I couldn't get anywhere else. The way I look at it, the world can wait 2 years for another 40-story smoked glass high-rise.
Peace Corps, the toughest job you'll ever love.
It's time for You Lost Your Life with your hosts, Crash Dummies, Vince and Larry. Hi!
Hello, and welcome to the show that proves if you don't buckle your safety belt, the loser is you.
That's right, Vince, and by not buckling up, you could end up in places you never dreamed.
Like traction!
Or the emergency room!
Plus, Larry, if you're not buckled up, you could maybe take a ride in a beauty like this. Stay tuned!
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
I don't know if you'll remember me, but I'll never forget you. I'm Mr. Signorelli's daughter. I didn't think about what would happen if he went into cardiac arrest. I didn't realize that at 6 a.m., a nurse would call the shots and save his life.
If you have the smarts and the guts to study biology, chemistry, anatomy, and psychology, call 1-800-962-NURSE. If caring were enough, anyone could be a nurse.
All right, let's take a second and introduce our new alternates for Hunter Tannersville.
Frank.
And for Cherry Valley Springfield.
Raul.
All right, we have a score with CVS in the lead. Cherry Valley Springfield has a score of 90 to Hunter Tannersville's 40. All right, let's begin the second round. This 1992 quote referred to a site in what state? The frogs and trees are radioactive. You can't touch the fish or wade in the streams, and a doctor warns of cancer risks, but that doesn't ruffle the people of Oak Ridge. Okay, the state is Tennessee. In what bay are these islands located? Angel Island, Yerba Buena Island, and Treasure Island. San Francisco Bay. Who wrote dialogues in which all these characters appeared? Protagoras, Gorgias, Timaeus. Dave?
Plato.
Yes, Plato. What is the name for a person who takes the place of a starring actor during a dangerous stunt scene? Eric?
Stunt double.
Double. In the human body, proteins are converted into what kind of acids before they reach the cells? Dave?
Amino.
Yes. Sound waves consist of alternate compressions and... Dave?
Elevations.
No, that's incorrect. CVS? No. Rarefactions is the answer. The Holy Alliance was signed in the year 1815 by leaders of Russia, Prussia, and what other country? Robbie.
Germany.
No, that's incorrect. Hunter Tannersville. Dave?
Austria.
Yes, Austria. He began each one with excuse me. He began each one with the salutation, "My friends." Name these apparently informal radio talks by Franklin Roosevelt.
Fireside talks.
Dave?
Fireside talks.
There you go. This quote refers to what mythical Greek creature? This dog with 3 heads denotes Mike.
Cerberus.
Say that again?
Cerberus.
Judges? Yeah. Yes, okay. Cerberus. That's a bonus question for you guys. You must get the first part correct to go to the second. You might want pencils. You guys can converse for this. Given that P equals -4, what is the value of -2, open parentheses, P cubed, close parentheses?
Oh, P cubed. Oh, shit.
Yes?
128.
Yes. And you also might want pencils for this one. Multiply -5, open parentheses, x cubed, close parentheses, by -3x.
X to the 4th.
Yes, that's correct. All right, another toss-up question. You all might want pencils for this. Algebraic factoring. Factor m squared minus 36. Eric?
Parentheses m plus 6 in parentheses, parentheses m minus 6 in parentheses.
Yes. Scuba diving. Divers emerging from great depths must decompress slowly as they rise toward the surface. This process is primarily to allow bodily tissues to safely eliminate what gas? Dave?
Nitrogen.
Nitrogen. What allergen consisting of skin particles rhymes with the same name of a male goose? Dave?
Dander.
Mm-hmm. Which group of protozoans move by using 1 or 2 whip-like tails? Dave? Time. CVS. Eric.
Flagellates.
Yes, flagellates. Sentence analysis. Which phrase is the direct object in this statement? Never attribute to malice that which is explained by stupidity. Dave.
That which is explained.
Judges. No? No. CVS. No? They wanted just a little bit more. That which is explained by stupidity is the entire direct object. Name the prehistoric inland sea that once covered a large part of western Utah. Dave.
I didn't buzz.
Dave from Paul. I'm sorry, Paul.
The Great Inland Sea.
No, that's incorrect. Hunter Tannersville. No triers. Lake Bonneville. Okay, these words are on what memorial? The names have a power, a life, all their own. Even on the coldest days, sunlight makes them warm to the touch. Young men put into the earth, rising out of the earth. Dave.
Vietnam War Memorial.
Yes. Computer-aided design is abbreviated with the letters CAD. For what does the abbreviation CAM stand for? Eric.
Computer-aided manufacture.
True. Kaolin is a substance particularly useful to people involved in what form of art?
Could you repeat that?
Sure. Kaolin is a substance particularly useful to people involved in what form of art? They use that in ceramics and pottery. Okay, this question's on the 1920s. They were Italian immigrants. They were also anarchists and convicted of murder and executed. Name these two men who became martyrs during the Roaring Twenties. No, the answer is Sacco and Vanzetti. Okay. Albinism is caused by the absence of what pigment in the skin? Eric.
Melanin.
Melanin. What adjective? Bonus question. Okay, you must get the first half correct. Go on to the second. What mythical character is often portrayed with these characteristics? He's blindfolded, he has wings, his quiver holds invisible arrows.
Cupid.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I hope I pronounce this correctly. Caryatids.
What?
Caryatids. Caryatids were special supporting columns in the form of female figures. They were first developed in what ancient civilization? Greece. Okay, let's go on. Plays. What adjective did Neil Simon use in the title of one of his plays about a couple of very different men? Paul. Odd. What hyphenated word refers to the protagonist of a modern novel who, by his gracelessness and ineptitude, has the converse of most of the traditional attributes of a hero? Yeah. Shall I read that again?
No.
Okay.
No.
The answer is the anti-hero. Fort Apalachicola in East Florida was located in a region occupied by Indians of what tribe? Paul. Seminole. What phrase from Article 3 of the Constitution covers the act of supplying the nation's enemies? Dave.
Treason.
No, I don't think we can accept that. CVS. What phrase from Article 3 of the Constitution covers the act of supplying the nation's enemies with military or diplomatic secrets? Paul.
Giving aid and comfort to the enemy?
Yes. She was said to have laid waste to a district in Asia Minor before being killed by Bellerophon. Eric?
Attila the Hun.
No, that's incorrect. Let me finish the question for Hunter Tannersville. She was said to have laid waste to a district in Asia Minor before being killed by Bellerophon. Who was this fire-breathing female monster with the head of a lion, the body of a goat, and the tail of a dragon? Dave?
The Chimera.
Chimera. And that does it for the game. We'll be back for the scores right after this.
Randy Travis on strings. Branford Marsalis on the horn. Paul Schaefer on keys. Carly Simon on lead. There are a lot of different parts to play in the American Red Cross. Play your part.
Every year, thousands of people are killed with a frying pan. Reduce your intake of high-fat fried foods and help reduce your risk of cancer and heart disease. For a free booklet on low-fat eating, call 1-800-EAT-LEAN.
And that was indeed an exciting second-round match between CVS and Hunter Tannersville, but Cherry Valley Springfield is on top with a score of 230 to Hunter Tannersville's 180. On behalf of RSEC TV, happy Halloween. Everybody have a safe drive home. Good night.
This is RSEC TV, Stamford, New York. This is a test. This is a test. This is a test.
Hi, and welcome to another exciting second-round Brain Game matchup. I'm Patrick Del Rosario, your host, and we'll meet our teams right after we go over the rules. All right? Brain Game is divided into two 10-minute rounds. In the first round, questions are worth 10 points each, and a team is awarded a bonus question after correctly answering 5 toss-ups. The first half of the bonus need not be answered correctly in order to go on to the second part, and in the second round, toss-ups are worth 20 points, and the first half of the bonus must be answered correctly to go on to the second half of the question. As usual, questions answered incorrectly will be subtracted from the team score based on the value of that question, and we'll be back to begin Brain Game right after this message.
From the McGruff Files, the Philadelphia story. In certain parts of Philadelphia, things were rough. Areas were run down, crime and drugs were out of hand, and honest folks felt like prisoners in their own homes. People decided to work with police to turn things around. Weekly meetings led to cleanup projects and folks working together. Soon the neighbors had their neighborhood back. That's what happens when people and police work together. Write this down and I'll show you how you can help take a bite out of crime.
People in the National Guard and Reserve make up over 40% of our nation's combat-ready forces. It's a job that requires them to face some very big challenges. So please, don't make their biggest challenge asking you for time off to do their training.
Mr. Aldridge, you, got a minute?
Be a hero. Give your employees the freedom to protect ours.
All right, we're back. From Jefferson Central School, we have...
Dylan Gloss, senior.
Dave Chappell, junior.
Greg Nair, freshman.
And from Cherry Valley Springfield.
Eric Newman, junior.
Paul Schechter, sophomore.
Robert Boyce, sophomore.
All right, let's start the first round with a toss-up question. You might want your pencils for this. Convert negative 5 pi over 4 radians to degrees. Dylan, Jefferson?
135 degrees, positive angle.
No, that's incorrect. CVS? Negative 5 pi over 4 radians to degrees. Another 5 seconds. Eric?
Negative 225 degrees.
That's correct. Okay, these safety precautions are advised with what predator in mind? Keep your back to something. Carry a pole to fend off an attack. Get out of the water if bleeding. And don't splash. Paul?
Shark.
A shark. Pharmacists wrote huge numbers of prescriptions for medicinal doses of alcohol, and the production of legal sacramental wine increased by hundreds of thousands of gallons as a result of what amendment? Robbie, CVS.
Prohibition.
I'm sorry, judges, I don't think we can accept that, right? Jefferson. Greg.
18th.
18th.
Amendment.
Yes, 18th Amendment. What is the 2-syllable synonym for a bar of music? Eric. Measure. What are you supposed to sing all day according to the song that begins with these words? Oh, I went down south to see my gal. Paul?
Sing Polly Wally Doodle.
Sing Polly Wally Doodle. A rectangular red flag with a black square in its middle flying at Corpus Christi, Texas indicates what kind of weather? Paul?
A hurricane.
A hurricane. Bonus question, CVS.
We can talk this over.
Yes, you guys can talk this over. Novels. In what novel by James Joyce did Leopold Bloom set out to walk the streets of Dublin?
Sniper. What? Sniper. The sniper.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go on to the second part of this bonus. Novels. What was the last name of the fictional character referred to in this description? In October of 1918, on a day when the Army Communique reported that all was quiet on the Western Front, a stray bullet hit Paul and he died. We're looking for the last name of the fictional character.
Rousseau. Is that fictional? Yeah. Rousseau?
No, I'm sorry, the answer is Bomber. Okay, another toss-up question. This passage paraphrases part of what document? Governments have not always been established to secure or safeguard our possession of these rights. Paul.
Declaration of Independence.
Declaration of Independence. Name the most famous inventor associated with the state of New Jersey. Dave?
Thomas Edison.
Thomas Edison. What figure of speech is illustrated in this line? Anarchy has 1,000 faces in Somalia. Eric?
Personification.
Yes. What Roman emperor was said to have killed his mother, his wife, his teacher? Robbie. Nero. Spell the homograph, which can either mean drool or one who deals in slaves. And we'd like you to spell it. Slaver. Slaver. All of these active bases can be described in what 3-syllable term? Strychnine, atropine, nicotine, and quinine. They're all alkaloid. All of the long bones of the human body are filled with red marrow at birth. But as people grow into adulthood, the red marrow in the bones of the limbs is replaced by marrow of what color? Robbie.
Yellow.
Yellow. Juan Antonio Samaranch served as president of what sports organization in 1992? The IOC, the International Olympic Committee. What was the primary chemical defoliant used by U.S. military forces in the Vietnam War? Paul?
Agent Orange.
Yes. Bonus question? I think. Yes, bonus question. CVS, you might want pencils for this. Exponents. 5 squared to the half power is equal to... Go ahead.
5.
Yes. Given that x equals -3, what is the value of x to the 5th power?
-243.
Yes. Back to toss-ups. What country is situated in the western part of the Indian subcontinent with Afghanistan and Iran on the west? Dylan?
Pakistan?
Pakistan. Name the flap of tissue at the back of the tongue that blocks the windpipe when a person swallows. Eric?
Epiglottis.
Mm-hmm. The person to whom goods are shipped for sale under a consignment contract is called the... Paul?
Invoice.
No, I'm sorry. Let me read this again. The person to whom goods are shipped for sale under a consignment contract is called the... Consignee. Okay, mullahs or mullahs are religious leaders considered to be authorities on the laws of what religion? Greg?
Islam.
Yes. Above the troposphere and extending to altitudes of about 25 miles is a region of clear, calm air and unlimited visibility. Name this atmospheric layer. Dylan, Jefferson.
Stratosphere?
Yes. Bonus question, Jefferson. Okay, this first bonus is on slips of the tongue. What word should Ronald Reagan not have included in this 1975 quote from a speech on developing nations? The United States has much to offer the Third World War.
War.
Good answer. Another slip of the tongue. What should the last word have been in this statement by Chicago Mayor Richard Daley? Get this thing straight, once and for all. The policeman isn't there to create disorder. The policeman is there to preserve disorder.
Order?
Yes. Okay. More toss-up questions. This is on nonfiction. All of these works deal with all of these works deal with whose death? Rush to judgment, inquest, best evidence, and final disclosure. Paul.
JFK.
JFK. The appellation Admiral of all the ocean seas, that's in quotes, was given to whom in the 15th century? Dave.
Sir Francis Drake?
No, that's incorrect. Cherry Valley? Paul.
Henry the Navigator.
No, it's Christopher Columbus. All of these diseases affect which organ of the body? Bronchitis, tuberculosis, Robbie.
The lungs.
Correct. Name the highest volcano on the planet of Mars. Dylan.
Olympus Mons?
Yes. During the War of 1812, Captain James Lawrence gave an order to his men just before he died. Dave?
Don't give up the ship.
Don't give up the ship. Alfonso Albuquerque had been in the office only 1 year when Goa captured and made the base of Portuguese operations. Goa is on the west coast of what country? Paul?
Angola.
No, that's incorrect. Jefferson? It's India. The words eloquent silence illustrate what figure of speech? Dylan?
Oxymoron?
Oxymoron. Colonists needed what two metals to make pewter tankards? Robbie?
Lead and tin.
Yes. Okay, that's the half. We'll be back after this message for the scores.
It's time for You Lost Your Life with your hosts, Christ Dummies, Vince and Larry.
Hi! Hello, and welcome to the show that proves if you don't buckle your safety belt, the loser is you.
That's right, Vince, and by not buckling up, you could end up in places you never dreamed.
Like traction!
Or the emergency room!
Plus, Larry, if you're not buckled up, you could maybe take a ride in a beauty like this. Stay tuned!
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
We have to sustain 8,000 doctors and researchers to end diabetes. We have to assist hospitals and laboratories in 50 states to end diabetes. We have to educate the 11 million Americans who have it to end diabetes. We have to enlighten the 1 out of 10 Americans who will get it to end diabetes. Of course, there's really only one way to end diabetes.
How much do your children know about AIDS? Do you talk to them about it? You're not sure if it's enough, are you? Of course, they're learning about health in school, right? Healthy lifestyles can be learned. Are they being taught?
Now more than ever, your children need an understanding of what it takes to be healthy. Schools can play an important role. Call for information about how you can work with your school.
Where'd you tell your mom you're going after?
Tom's party.
I bet she liked that. No beer.
Yeah, no people either.
I don't know why she's having such a fit about Mark's keg party.
Everybody's gonna be there.
Besides, one night's not gonna kill us.
Don't drink and drive.
All right, we're back to the second half of Brain Game, and the score is Cherry Valley Springfield 120, Jefferson Central 80. And we have some substitutes in. For Jefferson, we have
Aaron Miller, senior.
And for Cherry Valley Springfield.
Tracy Smith, senior.
Okay, questions are worth 20 points now. Let's start with a toss-up. What is the last word in this poem by Emily Dickinson? A bird came down the walk. He did not know I saw. He bit an angleworm in halves and ate the fellow. Dylan.
Raw.
Raw. What is your longitude if local noon occurs at 8 a.m. GMT? Paul?
120 degrees west.
That's incorrect. Jefferson. Dylan?
120 degrees east.
No, that's also incorrect. 60 degrees east. Okay, this is on psychoses. Joan believed that others were hearing and stealing her thoughts. She felt that someone else was controlling her bodily movements. She frequently heard hostile voices speaking to her. Using a medical term, these are symptoms of what psychosis? Dylan?
Paranoia.
No, that's incorrect. CVS? Eric?
Schizophrenia.
Schizophrenia. What name for a form of poetic romantic instrumental music with a slow tempo was derived from the Italian word nocturno? Eric?
A nocturne.
Yes. This unit of measurement has a length equal to 100 millionth of a centimeter. What unit is this abbreviated by the letter A? Eric?
Nanometer.
I'm sorry, Paul, you can't buzz in. Jefferson? Dylan?
Angstrom.
Angstrom. Name the force or effect that causes moving bodies near the Earth's surface to be turned laterally from a straight line. Dylan?
Coriolis effect.
Yes. This passage refers to what pneumonia? Oh, phenomena, I'm sorry, excuse me. This passage refers to what phenomena? These brilliant, hued, diaphanous... Eric.
Northern Lights.
Judges? Yes, we'll accept that, or auroras. What four-syllable adjective describes any line at right angles to the direction of a plumb line? Eric?
Perpendicular.
No, that's incorrect. Jefferson?
Repeat the question.
Yes, what four-syllable adjective describes any line at right angles to the direction of a plumb line? Okay, the answer is horizontal. What kind of bond holds together two amino acids? Dave, Jefferson.
A peptide bond?
Yes, peptide bond. When an acid and base unite, they form a salt and... Dylan.
Water?
Yes. Bonus question, Jefferson. Okay, this is on stories within stories. What fictional character told these stories? The history of a young king of the Black Isles, the history of Prince Ahmed, and the history of the fisherman and the genie. We're looking for the fictional character that told these stories.
Yeah, that's it. Scheherazade?
Scheherazade. Another question on short stories. In what short story by Bret Harte are a gambler and two prostitutes saved from themselves by virtue of their devotion to a pair of innocent youngsters who had eloped?
You repeat the question?
In what short story by Bret Harte are a gambler and two prostitutes saved from themselves by virtue of their devotion to a pair of innocent youngsters who had eloped?
Any guesses? No guesses. The gambler and two prostitutes?
That was close. The correct answer is Outcasts of Poker Flat. I'm sure soon to be a miniseries. Okay, what gaseous element was discovered on the sun before it was found on Earth? Paul?
Helium.
Helium. A force proportional to the mass of a body and the amount of acceleration required has to be applied to overcome what force? Paul?
Gravity.
No, I'm sorry. Jefferson.
Could you repeat the question?
A force proportional to the mass of a body and the amount of acceleration required has to be applied to overcome what force? The answer is inertia. In a line spectrum, only some wavelengths of light are visible. Name the other type of spectrum in which all wavelengths may be observed. Paul?
The electromagnetic spectrum.
No, I'm sorry. In a line spectrum, only some wavelengths of light are visible. Name the other type of spectrum in which all wavelengths may be observed. Okay, the answer is continuous. Sometimes a judge will release an accused person without bail, requirements simply because the accused promises to appear at the next court hearing. This is known as being released on a personal... Tracy?
A cognizance?
Could you say that again?
A cognizance?
Judges? No. Jefferson? That was close, Tracy. It's recognizance. Okay, generally regarded as the single most important decision delivered by a Supreme Court, Marbury versus Madison established the court's power of judicial review. Name the Chief Justice who wrote this opinion. Dylan?
Marshall?
Yes. Amendments. Andrew J. Volstead of Minnesota is associated with what amendment? The 18th Amendment. Whose seal is on the original Magna Carta? Whose seal, and the answer must be whose monarch seal is on the original Magna Carta? That would be King John. Which amendment to the U.S. Constitution prohibits a judge from setting bail for an accused shoplifter at $1 million? Tracy? Yes, the 8th Amendment. Bonus question, CVS.
Take a good one.
Okay, what is the opposite extreme of totalitarianism?
What? Democracy? No.
Anarchism.
Is it? Anarchism?
Yes. What theory was Adam Smith attacking when he said, quote, "To prohibit a great people from making all that they can of every part of their own produce is a manifest violation of the most sacred rights of mankind," unquote?
Manifest destiny.
Could you repeat the beginning of that, please?
Yes, what theory was Adam Smith attacking when he said, quote, "To prohibit a great people from making all that they can of every part of their own produce is a manifest violation of the most sacred rights of mankind"?
Manifest destiny?
No, I don't think we can accept that. We're looking for mercantilism. Okay, back to a toss-up. Roman law first appeared in the 12 Tables about 450 BC. It was prepared by a group of magistrates called the Decemviri. How many magistrates were in this group? Or I should say decemviri. The answer is 10. The asteroids called the Trojans precede or follow what planet? Let me read this again. The asteroids called the Trojans precede or follow what planet in its orbit at points equal to the distance of that planet from the sun? Shall I read it again? Okay. The asteroids called the Trojans precede or follow what planet in its orbit at points equal to the distance of that planet from the sun? The answer, Paul.
Jupiter.
Jupiter. New York did not accept it until July 9th, and that vote was not announced to the Congress until the 15th. It was signed by some on July 19th, but most signatures were added on August 2nd. Name this document from 1776. Dave?
The Declaration of Independence?
Correct. And that's the game. We'll be back with the final scores right after this message.
I was going to take a job with an engineering firm in New York. I got a better offer. I'm building schools overseas with the Peace Corps. The pace is a little slower than New York, but here I'm getting grassroots experience I couldn't get anywhere else. The way I look at it, the world can wait 2 years for another 40-story smoked glass high-rise.
Peace Corps, the toughest job you'll ever love.
The man.
And dog.
For years, this man thought if he just tried hard enough, he could teach himself to read. Where do you go when you can't do it alone? He's getting help in a literacy program for adults. They got help from the United Way. All because the United Way got help from you. The United Way. It brings out the best in all of us.
All right, and welcome back. After an exciting comeback, we have Jefferson Central School victorious with a score of 200 to Cherry Valley Springfield's 140. On behalf of RSEC TV and everybody here today, we'd like to thank you for watching and have a good day.
This is RSEC TV, Stamford, New York. This is a test. This is a test. This is a test.
Welcome to our semifinal matchup round between Edmiston Central School and Cherry Valley Springfield Central School. I'm your host, Patrick Del Rosario, and we'll meet the teams right after we go over the rules. Brain Game is divided into two 10-minute rounds, and in the first round, questions are worth 10 points each, and a team is awarded a bonus question after correctly answering 5 toss-ups. The first half of the bonus need not be answered correctly in order to go on to the second part, and in the second round, toss-ups are worth 20 points, and the first half of the bonus must be answered correctly in order to go on to the second part. All right? And questions answered incorrectly, of course, will be subtracted from your team's score based on the value of the question. And we'll be right back to meet the teams right after this message.
Every year, thousands of people are killed with a frying pan. Reduce your intake of high-fat fried foods and help reduce your risk of cancer and heart disease. For a free booklet on low-fat eating, call 1-800-EAT-LEAN.
When friends don't stop friends from drinking and driving. Friends die from drinking and driving. Friends die from drinking, and drinking and driving can kill a friendship.
Okay, and we're back. From Edmiston Central School, we have
Carol Zinger, and I'm a senior.
Christine Johnson, and I'm a senior. John Kent, 8th grader.
all right, and from Cherry Valley Springfield.
Eric Newman, junior.
Paul Schechter, sophomore.
Tracy Smith, senior.
All right, and let's get right to the first toss-up question for this semifinal matchup. Okay, this first question's on momentum. What vector quantity is the product of mass times radius of orbit times velocity? Carol?
Centripetal force.
No, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. CVS, what vector quantity is the product of mass times radius of orbit times velocity? Paul?
Orbital velocity.
No, they're looking for angular momentum. Euphemisms. What is the euphemism in this statement about the early pilgrims? Their first winter was mild, but disease carried off half the settlers the first year.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes, Eric?
Carried off.
Carried off is the euphemism. Geographical abbreviations. What does the abbreviation BM mean to a surveyor? Paul?
Benchmark.
Benchmark. In 1810, an estimated 2 billion of these birds were sighted in one flock. By 1909, no one was able to claim a reward for finding just one nesting pair. What North American bird had become extinct? No one? That would be the passenger pigeon. What was the popular name of the army of 25,000 former doughboys who pitched an encampment in Washington, D.C. in 1932 to ask Congress for the bonus promised to veterans back in 1924? That was known as the Bonus Army. Okay, what 6-syllable term used in calculus refers to variables which approach zero as a limit? The correct answer is infinitesimal. What degree of comparison is illustrated by the first adjective in this line? The greatest fan of fly fishing is the worm. We're looking for we're looking for the degree of the comparison, as illustrated by the first adjective in this line. The greatest fan of fly fishing is the worm. Carol?
Superlative.
Superlative. Who was the only American to be elected unanimously by the Electoral College? Paul?
George Washington.
George Washington. Carborundum is the commercial name of silicon what? Christine?
Dioxide.
No, that's incorrect. CVS, carborundum is the commercial name of silicon what? Silicon carbide. The CIA once planned to dust the shoes of what foreign leader with a hair-removing substance in order to cause his beard to fall out? John?
Castro.
Fidel Castro. What is the name for the final runner on a team in a relay race? Tracy?
Anchor.
The anchor. What Greek word meaning high city refers to the location of the Parthenon? Carol?
Acropolis? Or?
Yes, that's correct. Only a handful of intrepid explorers have crossed the Sahara in Africa. The Taklamakan in China or the Rub al-Khali in what country? In the country Saudi Arabia. What 17th century Dutch merchant polished small pieces of glass so accurately? Paul?
Anton Leeuwenhoek.
Correct. Bonus question, Cherry Valley Springfield. You guys can converse on this one. Okay, bad times for computers. What four-letter adjective refers to a computer that is temporarily out of order?
Four-letter adjective.
Yes. Refers to a computer that is temporarily out of order.
Down.
Down. Part 2, computer abbreviations. What does the following abbreviation mean when used in reference to computer data storage devices? WORM. W-O-R-M.
Written on something media.
You have an answer, Eric?
Written on what? Reusable media.
That's write once, read many. Okay, another toss-up question. While flying across the Icarian Sea, he got too close to the sun and the wax holding his wings together melted. Who was he? Eric.
Icarus.
Icarus. These lyrics were taken from what song? Way Hey and Up She Rises. Paul.
What do you do with a drunken sailor?
Yes, the drunken sailor. Okay, the Eugene Delacroix painting, Dante and Virgil in Hell, depicts the crossing of what underworld river? That would be the river Styx, S-T-Y-X. What river flows along the west side of the Golan Heights to the Sea of Galilee? Carol.
Jordan.
The River Jordan. By what name do Americans know the Euro Disneyland attraction called Le Château de la Belle au Bois Dormant? Paul.
Sleeping Beauty's castle.
Yes, that's correct. The infectious agent Mycobacterium leprae is the bacteria that causes what dreaded disease? Carol.
Leprosy.
Leprosy. Between June. Bonus question for Edmiston. Okay, your first question is on orchestral works. This passage refers to what work? So strongly national is this work that for a long time people believed it was made up of actual Finnish folk tunes, but all the musical material is Sibelius's own. So we're looking for, this passage is referring to what work?
The William Tell Overture of 1812?
No, they're looking actually for Finlandia. Okay, the second part of the question. Composers. He said, quote, "Every day I receive many compliments, even on the fire of my last works. No one will believe what trouble and strain I endure to produce them. Who was this composer of the seasons and the creation?"
Mozart.
Haydn, Joseph Haydn. Okay, between June 11th and July 27th, 1794, a total of 1,366 people were guillotined in what European city? Carol.
Paris?
Paris. The area visible through an optical instrument such as a telescope or pair of binoculars is called the field of... Eric.
View.
Or vision. What musical instrument popular in Central America and played with mallets consists of tuned wooden blocks suspended above resonators? Paul.
A xylophone?
I know that's incorrect. Edmiston. What musical instrument popular in Central America and played with mallets consists of tuned wooden blocks suspended above resonators? That's called a marimba. What artificial device is associated with these people? Murray Hayden, William Schroeder, and Barney Clark. Paul.
Artificial heart?
Yes, the Jarvik 7 heart. Bonus question? Okay. Your first bonus question is on Central America. The battleship USS Nashville was directly involved in establishing the independence of what Central American country in 1903?
Panama?
Yes, Panama. Name the largest but most sparsely populated of the Central American nations.
Central American. Honduras.
Nicaragua. And that does it for the first half. We'll be back with the scores right after this message.
For some people, doing their basic tax forms by themselves can make them feel like they're climbing the walls.
My full name is, I remember that, Dependent.
If you need help, free tax help is available from IRS-trained volunteers. Find them by calling 1-800-424-1040. They'll make your taxes less taxing.
Mom. Come on, Courtney. Come on, baby. Come on. Come to Mama. There you go. You can do it. You can do it.
At Easter Seals, the first step was helping Mom. Because sometimes mothers of disabled children need encouragement too. Support Easter Seals. Give the power to overcome.
Good girl, Courtney. Good girl.
I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed days, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
If you're not recycling, you're throwing it all away.
Used in the world in the last 40 years, none had more power than this one.
Hi, welcome back. We have a substitute for Cherry Valley Springfield.
Hi, I'm Raul, sophomore.
All right, and we have a score with CVS in the lead with a score of 100 to Edmiston's 40. All right, it's a three-question game. Our first toss-up for the second half. In 1349, 1/3 of the population of England died as a result of what disease? John?
Bubonic plague.
I'll have to refer to the judges for that answer. Yes, or Black Death, or the plague. All right, our second toss-up. What term do botanists use for an arrangement of 3 or more leaves radiating from a single node? Paul?
Compound leaf.
No, I'm sorry. Edmiston? It's known as a whorl. The following are 7 basic sensations detectable by humans using which sense? Camphoraceous, floral, ethereal, putrid, musky. Robbie.
Smell.
Smell. The source of energy for most endergonic reactions in a cell is a special kind of molecule referred to by a 3-letter abbreviation. Paul.
ADP.
Could you repeat that?
ATP.
ATP is correct. What 4-letter word can mean any of the following? A deep, resonant, sustained sound, a long beam, a sudden increase in size, and a time of prosperity. Carol?
A boom.
A boom. What, besides energy, can be transmitted in these 3 basic ways? By linkage such as a crank and connecting rod, by direct contact between a gear, teeth, or a cam and follower, or by a wrapping connector such as a belt or chain.
Could you repeat the beginning of
Yes, what besides energy can be transmitted in these 3 basic ways? Oh, they're looking for motion. If no candidate has been elected as U.S. President by January 20th, the person holding what office steps in as interim chief of state? Robbie.
Vice President.
No, that's incorrect. Edmiston. No guess? Speaker of the House. This explanation was by what author? Bose was the nickname of a younger brother whom I had dubbed Moses, which being facetiously pronounced through the nose becomes Boses, and being shortened became Bose.
Please repeat the question.
Yes, this explanation was by what author? Bose was the nickname of a younger brother whom I had dubbed Moses, which being facetiously pronounced through the nose became Boses, and being shortened became Bose. Charles Dickens is the answer. Who was killed when Senator Edward Kennedy's car ran off a bridge at Chappaquiddick in 1969? Her name was Mary Jo Kopechne. All right, you might want pencils for this fraction multiplication problem. What is the product of these 3 fractions? 2 over 5, 10 over 3, and 6 over 7 in the lowest common denominator, please. Carol.
6/7.
No, that's incorrect. CVS? Okay, time's up. We're looking for... Eric?
Oh.
Go ahead.
24 over 7?
No, that's also incorrect. 8/7, or 1 1/7. Another toss-up. What compound word refers to the calcareous deposit that forms a watertight stratum below the soil of many grasslands? I'll repeat that. What compound refers to the calcareous deposit that forms a watertight stratum? Robbie?
Bedrock.
No, that's incorrect. Edmiston? Well, it was the hard pan. In what poem from the 8th century BC do these events occur? The slaughtering of Hyperion's cows, a visit with the lotus eaters, and the feeding of the... Robbie?
The Odyssey.
The Odyssey. What Secretary of State did George Bush ask to run his 1992 presidential campaign? Paul?
James Baker.
Yes. What part of the nervous system consists of all those neurons which lie outside the brain and spinal cord? Paul?
Peripheral nervous system.
That's correct. Bonus question? Scientists He was born in Switzerland and settled in America in 1846. He made important contributions in the areas of fish classification and to the study of glaciation. His name was Louis... What?
Clark. No.
Moore. I don't know.
Louis Moore is incorrect. His name was Louis Agassiz. Cliches.
Okay.
For another toss-up. How many cliches are in this passage? As a matter of fact, there is never a dull moment in the wide open spaces of Mother Nature. Robbie?
2.
No, that's incorrect. Edmiston. Well, the answer is 4. What is the two-word name for the constabulary units of America's nation's armed forces? The answer is military police. What was the title of the novelized autobiography by Henry Adams? The Education of Henry Adams. What word is modified by the infinitive in this sentence? The very best time to fish is either... Carol.
To fish?
No, I'm sorry. CVS? The very best time to fish is either when it is sunny or when it is not. We're looking for the word that is modified by the infinitive in this sentence. Eric?
Time.
Time. The conjurer throws a rope up into the air, climbs up and down the rope, utters a few words, and the rope falls limp. Although there is no evidence that anyone has ever performed this trick, it is associated with what Asian country? Robbie?
India.
India. You might want pencils for this. Algebraic multiplication. Multiply the quantity, parentheses, 2x plus 5y, close parentheses, by the quantity, parentheses, 4x squared minus 10xy plus 25y squared, close parentheses. I'll give you 15 more seconds. All right, time's up. We're looking for 8x cubed plus 125y cubed. There are 3 classes of levers, or levers. Which of these illustrated by the bending of one's elbow? Robbie?
Hinge.
No, I'm sorry, that's not the correct answer. Edmiston? It's known as the 3rd class. Okay, people with arteriosclerosis have deposits called artheroma in their arteries. What do artheroma consist of? Carol?
Cholesterol?
Fat or cholesterol. The words honor et nilo, honor, ESTANILO, in quotes, meaning honor is from the Nile, is an anagram for the name of what English admiral and viscount? No one? Horatio Nelson. What field of science deals with the composition? And that does it for today's semifinal brain game match. We'll be back with the scores right after this message.
This is one of the most finely tuned machines in existence. But tinker with drugs, and you could leave it a wreck. This message has been brought to you by the United States Marine Corps.
All right, and moving on to our final round of Brain Game is CVS. They're defeating Edmiston with a score of 120 to 60. All right, on behalf of RSEC TV, we'd like to thank everybody for watching and thank all the schools for participating. Take it easy. Good night. Welcome to our awesome All-Star Brain Game 92 matchup with our teams from the Southern Territory of BOCES and the Northern Territory of BOCES. We'll meet the teams right after we go over the rules. Brain Game is divided into two 10-minute rounds, and in the first round, questions are worth 10 points each, and a team is awarded bonus questions after correctly answering 5 toss-up questions. The first half of the bonus need not be answered correctly in order to go on to the second part, and in the second round, toss-ups are worth 20 points, and the first half of the bonus must be answered correctly to go on to the second half. All right, questions answered incorrectly will be deducted from your team's score according to the value of the question, and we'll be back to meet the teams right after this. All right, welcome back. I'm your host, Patrick Del Rosario, and from the South team, we have
Dylan Glass, senior from Jefferson, 5-year Brain Game veteran.
Dave Knapp from Hunter-Tannersville.
Tim O'Connor from Stanford.
And from our Northern BOCES territory,
Eric Newman from Cherry Valley, I'm junior.
I'm Ryan Zahos from Skineus, I'm senior.
Carol Zinger from Edmiston, I'm senior.
Okay, is everybody ready? All right, let's begin the All-Star game. Our first toss-up. What is the name for marking the points in a coordinate plane which correspond to given ordered pairs of numbers?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. What is the name for marking the points in a coordinate plane which correspond to given ordered pairs of numbers? Dylan.
Plotting.
Plotting. The term battery may collectively refer to what section of instruments in an orchestra? Dylan.
The percussion.
The percussion. Name the precious gem variety of the extremely hard aluminum oxide mineral corundum, which owes its pale blue, deep indigo color to small amounts of iron and titanium. Eric.
Sapphire.
Sapphire is correct. The following disorders all affect what organ of the body? Pericarditis, cardiomyopathy. Eric.
Heart.
The heart. What is the last word in this advice by Alexander Pope? In words as fashions, the same rule will hold. Alike fantastic if too new or old, be not the first by whom the new are tried, nor yet the last to lay the old what? Dylan.
Aside.
Aside. In 1992, Canadians voted to establish a new territory called Nunavut, which will substantially reduce the size of what political subdivision of Canada? No one? That would be the Northwest Territories. Okay, what finely grained, dark, dense volcanic rock is the primary constituent of the ocean floors? Dylan.
Basalt.
Basalt. What is the German word for without? Dave?
Kinda.
No, that's incorrect. Northern team? What is the German word for without? The answer is ohne, O-H-N-E. What term used in the study of the atmosphere is made up of parts of the following three words? Incoming solar radiation. Dylan.
Insulation.
Insulation. Bonus question for the South. You guys can converse on this. Classical music. Guido Guarnini based the following composition on a literary work by what Greek? L'ultimo viaggio di Odisseo.
Homer. What was the question for the Greek?
Yeah.
Homer?
Homer. Second part of the question. Who wrote the poem which inspired Charles Tomlinson Griffiths to write an orchestral work entitled Pleasure Dome of Kubla Khan?
Samuel Taylor Coleridge.
Coleridge.
Coleridge is correct. Okay, let's go back to toss-up questions. Rheumatic fever particularly affects the valves of what organ in the body? Dave.
Heart.
The heart. The angle between wind direction and a surface exposed to it is called the angle of what? That would be the angle of attack. Hostages from what country were central in this event? In 1976, 4 hijackers who had boarded in Athens seized Air France Flight 139 on its way from Tel Aviv to Paris and forced it to fly to Entebbe, Uganda. We're looking for the country that the hostages were from. They were all from Israel. Okay, Australia is divided into regions such as New South Wales, Queensland, and Tasmania. What is the name for these areas? Carol?
Provinces?
Provinces is incorrect. Southern team? No try? They're known as states. In 1923, Adolf Hitler organized a putsch against the German government. This revolt began in a beer hall in what city? Dave?
Munich.
Munich. Muscat is the capital of what Mideast country? Yeah, it's Muscat, M-U-S-C-A-T. It's the capital of what Mideast country? Dylan?
Oman.
Oman. What is oxygenated in the alveoli? Carol.
Your blood?
Your blood, red blood cells. What name do anthropologists give to the belief that a spirit or divinity resides within every object? Eric.
Animism.
Animism. 30 decibels equal how many bells? Eric?
0.3.
No, that's incorrect. Southern team? Dylan?
300?
No, the answer is 3. Name the conqueror of Puerto Rico who sailed in 1513 from Puerto Rico past the Bahamas to land in Florida. Dave?
Ponce de Leon.
Yes, Ponce de Leon. To what general language family do these words belong? Swedish, Italian, Romanian, Bengali, Dutch, Danish, and Hindi. Dave?
Indo-European.
Yes, Indo-European. Bonus question for the South on novels. A novel entitled David Balfour was a sequel to what other novel by Robert Louis Stevenson?
Clueless.
Kidnapped. Okay, what country served as the primary setting for Neville Shute's novel On the Beach?
What was the question for the country? Australia?
Australia. Okay, more toss-up questions. What term from criminal law refers to a conditional release from imprisonment entitling the person receiving it to serve the remainder of his term outside prison? Tim?
Parole.
Parole. What economic concept is alluded to in this cliche? Prices go up and the dollar buys less. Dave?
Inflation.
Inflation. Name the Speaker of the House who unsuccessfully attempted to limit disclosure about the 20,000 bad checks written by members of Congress to just the 24 most flagrant offenders. Tim?
Foley.
Foley. Tom Foley. What malignant condition is characterized by the uncontrolled proliferation of white blood cells? Ryan?
Cancer.
No, cancer's incorrect. Dave?
Leukemia.
Leukemia. The Tethys Sea once separated Africa and Saudi Arabia from what landmass to the north?
Repeat that.
The Tethys Sea once separated Africa and Saudi Arabia from what landmass to the north? The answer is Asia. Okay, name Iraq's only port for seagoing vessels. Time's up. Basra. How many nanometers are there in 1 meter? Dylan.
A billion?
A billion. Bonus question on monarchs. Okay, who was the English monarch when these events occurred? Repeal of the Corn Laws, the Great Exhibition in London, and quote The Origin of Species published, and the Franco-Prussian War. Who was the English monarch when these events all occurred?
Charles II. I think.
Charles II?
Queen Victoria. Okay, during whose reign in England was the Spanish Armada defeated?
Yeah.
First.
Elizabeth?
Judges, can we accept that?
Elizabeth I.
Elizabeth I. There you go. Okay, more toss-ups. What hypotheses, named after the mythical Greek Mother Earth deity, suggests that all life on Earth... Dylan?
I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Gaea? Gaea? Or Gaea?
Judges, can we accept that? I don't think he has to spell it. It's, Gaia, the Gaia hypothesis. All right, we'll be back after this message with our all-star scores.
There are people out there who need help, but don't have anyone with the right skills and knowledge to turn to for help with their taxes. You or your organization can be there for someone who needs help. Volunteer your time, and the IRS will volunteer the training to help make someone's taxes less taxing.
Every year, thousands of babies die from choking, suffocating, or other breathing emergencies. Just imagine how many of them could be saved if only they came with instructions. Please learn American Red Cross Infant and Child CPR. American Red Cross. We help you help others.
It didn't keep Tchaikovsky from composing Swan Lake. It didn't stop Van Gogh from painting sunflowers, or Julius Caesar from ruling the Roman Empire. And having epilepsy hasn't kept these people from reaching their goals, meeting their responsibilities, doing their job. If you think epilepsy stands in the way of job performance, you're missing out on some very good people. I know. I have epilepsy myself. Get the facts. Call the Epilepsy Foundation of America, 1-800-EFA-1000.
No matter what you're running from, there's someone to run to. Covenant House. No matter what your problem is, we're here to listen. Wherever you are, we can get you help. So call us now on the 9 line. It's free. 1-800 and keep dialing 9.
Welcome back to our all-star matchup. We have some new players in. For our southern team, we have...
Chance Caswell from Margaretville.
And for our northern team?
Brian Somerville, sophomore, Cooperstown.
Okay, we'll begin brain game right after I write down this name right here. Okay, our first toss-up question. What suite by Gustav Holst includes these among its 7 sections? Mars, the bringer of war, Venus, bringer of peace, Mercury, the winged messenger, and Jupiter, bringer of jollity. Dylan?
The planets?
The planets. What term for ecology from ecology refers to the degree of control of a community by members of one or a few species. No one? Dominance. Substances that can be broken down by microorganisms into simple, stable compounds, such as carbon dioxide and water, are described by what 6-syllable adjective? Eric.
Biodegradable.
Biodegradable. A proofreader who uses the abbreviation BF is asking the printer to use what kind of type style? Carol?
Boldface.
Boldface. In what field of biology is a person involved if he frequently discusses such matters as dominant, homozygous, heterozygous, monogenic? Dave?
Genetics.
Genetics. Elvis Swaggerman has had the song Waltzing Matilda running through his mind practically nonstop for the past 3 months. This is symptomatic of what type of neurosis? Waltzing Matilda. What's it?
Yeah.
Obsession. What term can mean either the spreading of ideas from one region to another or the spreading of a gas from a region of high? Carol?
Diffusion.
Diffusion. This passage refers to whom? This plantation slave was 30 years old when he accompanied his master into free territory that was later to become Minnesota. Brian?
Dred Scott.
Correct. Alexander Hamilton once served as a defense lawyer for a client who had been jailed, quote, for printing and publishing several seditious libels. Who was his client? Does anybody want me to read that again?
No.
John Peter Zenger. What is the 3-letter synonym for the first word in this passage from Romeo and Juliet? Wherefore art thou Romeo? Dylan.
Why?
Why? These are all parts of what oratorio? He shall feed his flock, for unto us a child is born. Brian.
The Messiah.
Messiah. Yeah. Bonus question for the northern team.
I'm gonna beat you.
Okay, this first one's on telescopes. What type of telescopes are really giant antennas?
Radio telescopes.
Radio telescopes?
Yep. The abbreviation HST refers to what telescope launched in April of 1990?
Hubble Space Telescope.
There you go. Let's go back to toss-ups. Name the largest lake in the vicinity of the Everglades. Chance.
Okeechobee.
Yes, Lake Okeechobee. What soft metal was added to copper by ancient metallurgists to make bronze? Eric.
Tin.
Tin. According to the lyrics of Pomp and Circumstance, the land of hope and glory is the mother of what? Mother of the free. The members of the class of Chilopoda are sometimes called 100-leggers. What is this corresponding? Dylan.
Centipedes?
No, sorry. North, let me finish the question. What is the corresponding nickname for the members of the class Diplopoda? Brian?
Millipedes.
No.
No.
1,000-leggers. Okay. Who is the woman referred to in these words from a classic tragedy? And then his mother, his wife, for she was both, destroyed herself in a noose of her own making.
Oh, can you repeat that?
Repeat that question?
Sure. Who is the woman referred to in these words from a classic tragedy? And then his mother, his wife, for she was both, destroyed herself in a noose of her own making. The character's name was Jocasta. What narrative by Mark Twain describes his travels to France and the Holy Land? Brian?
A Tramp Abroad.
No, I don't think we can take that. The South? It's The Innocents Abroad, according to this. Find two consecutive integers. Okay, you might want pencils. Find two consecutive integers such that the sum of the first and the square of the second is 19. Eric?
3 and 4.
3 and 4. What ballet by Stravinsky is set up in a Russian carnival in which the puppet Petrochka is in love with a puppet ballerina? How about Petrochka? Who hammered out the first simple steel plow blade in his blacksmith shop in 1837?
John Deere.
John Deere, Dave. Bonus question for the South. Okay. How about a question on, well, what five-syllable term refers to a condition in which the sense of touch and the ability to feel pain are lost or impaired in part of the body?
Paralyzation. What's 6 syllables?
It's 5.
Paralyzation.
I don't. Try
How about an answer?
Paralyzation.
Nope. Anesthesia. Let's go to another toss-up question. What is the medical term for the surgical removal of a breast? Dave?
Mastectomy.
Mastectomy. There are two fundamental types of computers. The digital computer uses discrete elements to make computations. What kind of computer employs... Eric?
Analog.
Analog computers. Employs continuously variable physical phenomena. Two drivers had an automobile accident. Each argued that the other was responsible. Under what form of insurance would this argument be irrelevant? Eric?
Collision insurance?
No, I'm sorry. Two drivers had an automobile accident. Each argued that the other was responsible. Under what form of insurance would this argument be irrelevant? Dylan?
No fault insurance?
No fault insurance. Titania fell in love with Nick Bottom in Midsummer Night's Dream. At the time, Nick's head was that of what kind of animal? Chance.
An ass.
An ass. List all of the years in the 1980s when the national political conventions were held. Dave.
1980, 1984, 1988.
Very good. Myofibrils in muscle fibers are either myosin or what? They're either myosin or actin. What adjective describes acceleration in which there are equal changes in velocity in equal intervals of time? Dave?
Constant.
Or uniform. Bonus question. Okay, try this one. The diaphragm of a camera changes the effective diameter of the lens. The correct term for the effective diameter of a lens is?
Aperture.
Aperture.
Yes, aperture. This alternating current generator contains a permanent magnet. It requires no source of direct current for its operation. Ignitions based on this type of generator are found in some motorcycles and lawnmowers. Name this device.
Magneto.
Magneto.
Magneto. Try that. I know.
Magneto.
Yes, Magneto. Okay, another toss-up. The initials AB, which often precede the name of professional sailors, stand for what? This question's on seafarers, so if that helps you out a lot. AB stands for able-bodied. Name two officials. What two officials? Oh well, that's the game. Let's come right back after this message with our all-star scores.
Everyone makes mistakes, Matthew. Don't pay any attention to the other children.
For this bright 6-year-old, the ABCs have never been as simple as ABC.
Where do you go when you're different from the other kids? He got help at a Center for Learning Disabilities. They got help from the United Way. All because the United Way got help from you. The United Way. It brings out the best in all of us.
Of all the weapons used in the world in the last 40 years, none had more power than this one.
Okay, welcome back to our All-Star matchup. We have the final scores with our Southern Territory team winning with a score of 400 to the Northern Territory's 190. We'd like to thank all the schools for participating and thank all our players and thank you at home for watching. On behalf of RSCC TV, we'd like to say thank you very much. Good night.